United fans, this is bad. The defending champions of the FA Cup is out. And guess what? Fulham knocked United out of the competition on penalties. I don't know what is really happening with United, but what do you expect if you bring a coach like Amorim, who is a defensive, quick attacking, transitional coach, and he is in the midst of players who are afraid of attacking? What do you expect? Hey, it's a boost to Liverpool in the Carabao Cup Finals as Anthony Gordon got that red card against Brighton. Well, they have also been knocked out as well in the FA Cup by Brighton. And hey, this is Ashili Sports. With me today is Eddie and Emmanuel. And if you just join us, remember to hit the subscription button, like and share the video. And hey, your opinions are highly welcome. And hey, guess what? If you want to know, stay tuned. I will be bringing you all the details. Let's go. Emma, this is bad for Manchester United. This is absolutely something that we always talked about. Amorim made a mistake, or United have hesitated in bringing him earlier on. Instead of them to wait to finish the season, they brought him. His kind of tactics doesn't suit the players United is having, and the problems keep on increasing. Fulham in Old Trafford, this is FA Cup they won last season with Erik ten Hag. Now they are out of the competition and no other team. Fulham, what do you make up of this game?
Yeah, I think, it wasn't a good decision for Ruben Amorim in the first place to leave Sporting CP. All they were in a very good form, they were getting the results, and all of a sudden United came in and he decided to join Manchester United. But sometimes you can't fault some of these coaches because some of these opportunities, they come once in a lifetime. A team like Manchester United come knocking. You have to be rest assured that coaches like Ruben Amorim, who are, aspiring to be at the very top of their managerial, career, will just grab that opportunity and join Manchester United. So I think it was rather unfortunate that he left Sporting CP right in the middle of the season to join Manchester United. And it was also not a good decision for Manchester United to also appoint Ruben Amorim in the middle of the season, because they could have used an interim manager to, finish the season. Then they can assess their performance properly after the exit of Erik ten Hag and, appoint a coach. If even not Ruben Amorim, they will get a coach who will just change the face of Manchester United. So I think, initially, I think it wasn't that bad when he started a few games into his, Manchester United days. He was getting the result, but I think for about a few games now, Manchester United is going back to the Manchester United we used to know. They are just dropping points. Sometimes they can come from behind and, get, a draw, and they will celebrate it like if even won the game. So I think it's rather unfortunate that this whole thing is happening, but it's a mistake from Ruben Amorim, and also it's a mistake from the Manchester United team as well.
Eddie, you involved deeply in this because you are a big fan of Manchester United, but then the team under Amorim has been tagged as the bad team in the Premier League this season, and the worst performance ever of United's performance since the beginning under Amorim. What do you have to say with this comment?
The same players he came to meet, the same players that the other previous managers were being sacked, So he came to pick Manchester United in the middle of the season. As we all know, things are not going well. He has to just stick to that. Probably the season will end. He will just pick things from there. If you want players that, I think now what he said is some players have to go and others will come in. So we are still hoping on to that. But things are still getting worse for Manchester United. Things are still getting worse. Each and every single day, it's always United in the media, United. But he still has to be strong. Or you can't leave a better side, to join one of the better side. And now the hopes and dreams you came, why you came, it still hasn't been achieved yet. Things are still getting worse. Things are getting worse each and every single day. I hope that you will be strong, and we, the fans, too, will be strong. Then the season probably they will prevent relegation. They will probably stay in the league. Then this season we will pick things from there.
Yeah, this season you pick things from there. And well, the dilemma of was Amorim is a very serious one because this goes into like from now till summer break and also getting into the new season. His tactics, I don't know. Ima, do you think he should change a tactics as at this moment to suit the team, or he should just hang on after the end of the season? Probably he will get into other formations to actually try it and see whether it will work for him. Because currently it looks like it doesn't just switch for the players at all, but he's trying to stick to what he's doing currently.
Yeah, I think I've not seen Ruben Amorim to be one a pragmatic coach who changes his tactics even in the game when it's not going well for him. He's more of like the Pep Guardiola style. He sticks to his plan and also wants the best out of the players, even though it's not working. He thinks that at the end of the 90 minutes, the players will get the results for him with this tactics. So yeah, the pragmatism of him is not up there. So he being able to change the tactics right now from like wherever they are right now will be a bit of a problem because he's more of like a three-back system coach. He sticks to that plan. He used the fullbacks, but I think he's not getting the right players at Manchester United. So hopefully maybe he will just wait till the end of the season because I don't see any kind of changes that he will make in the team that will, change the fortunes of Manchester United to maybe come on top of the league or maybe they just have to survive the Premier League. You just have to make sure they are still in the Premier League. They can't play in the Europa. I don't think they can play in any of the UEFA competitions. So now the plan is to stay in the Premier League. And if they are to stay in the Premier League, I think, yeah, from now to the end of the season, he can just, go with his normal three-back system and maybe get the draw and, win one or two games in addition and he'll be good to go. But I don't think that there'll be any massive changes in his tactics moving forward.
Yeah, but can you help me so that we'll console Eddie because it's like the emotions is written on his face too.
Yeah, it's normal. He's a Manchester United fan, so sometimes these things come up. Some of us who have like taken the emotions out of our teams, like Arsenal, whenever they lose. For me, for instance, of late, I've not been even been watching their games, so even if they lose, I don't care much about it. But someone who's invested in the club, who wants to see his club winning, will be sad, or some of his facial expressions will just show that whatever is going on is affecting because we used to know Manchester United as at always the top, like winning the Premier League, competing in the UEFA Champions League. But now they are to their lowest point that they can't even win games against the likes of Fulham. So yeah, it's normal.
Yeah, me being the Chelsea fan, I'm familiar with that because last season we were in the same dilemma or the last two seasons. But then United fans will not forget that name, Kelvin Bassey. If you quite remember last season, he was the one who scored the winning goal against Manchester United in Old Trafford for Fulham United to actually won that game. And today he was the one who scored the win for Fulham. Newcastle United, Brighton. This was a game I thought it was a pure one for Newcastle United, a pure win for Newcastle United. But then Brighton, as a clinical finishers, came onto the game and then finished it up by 2-1. What do you make up of the exit of Newcastle United? Because they are in the Carabao Cup finals, but then cannot get the FA Cup finals, even quarterfinals.
Yeah, it's that's football. Sometimes the better teams you think they'll be proceeding. Something might happen to them along the way, and probably they will lose the important games that we will be expecting them to win. So today happens to be one of the days. Newcastle lost the game against Brighton. Don't get me wrong, Brighton. They've been a bit tough the later part of this season. They are trying to also fix things together. I think this guy, Welbeck, Mitoma, Minta, and I think some of the other guys, they are always trying to, do their best, play their hearts, for the club, do everything for the club. So yeah, I'm not much surprised, Newcastle got the early goal, Newcastle got the early goal, but at the end of the day, they were a bit of trailer where two red cards appeared in the game, Gordon with the first red card. It happens that way, they couldn't take that to proceed. They give out the important that like they give out the win,
Yeah, they give up the win. Is it not an advantage to Liverpool as Anthony Gordon got that red card? Because now the rule is if you get a red card on League Cup, it goes through the FA Cup as well. And now they are no more in the League FA Cup, but going to the finals of the League Cup with Liverpool. Anthony Gordon red card. He's an instrumental player or attacker in Newcastle United. This season, but him to be out of the finals. Do you think they have a chance?
Yeah, he's been one of the most instrumental players in the Newcastle setup. And I think, yeah, he getting a red card at this stage of, the season, that will also affect him in the finals of the EFL Cup. I think, yeah, it will be a bit of a problem for Eddie Howe. I don't know how he's going to adapt or change the system to see current, setup. But I feel like with the exit of Anthony Gordon, maybe he will just, try and bring in other players to, help, because he can't just go into the game thinking that Anthony Gordon is not available, so we are not going to play our game. So I'm sure even if Anthony Gordon is on injury, like he's been at home or something for months, definitely there'll be players who will step up into the set and, replace him. So I think, yeah, I believe in Eddie Howe to, change things going into the final against Liverpool. Newcastle, we all know it's a very stubborn side, and I feel like they'll give up their best. With exits, even with the exit of Anthony Gordon, I think Liverpool, Newcastle will still put up a fight, and they will stand against Liverpool, and maybe they will just get a win over them, and get a trophy this season.
Yeah, and get a trophy this season. And hey, tomorrow Nottingham Forest will be facing Ipswich Town. So after that, now the draw is looking serious as at this moment, as Bournemouth will be hosting Manchester City in the next round of the competition. We have Brighton will be facing either Nottingham Forest or Ipswich Town. So tomorrow's game will depend on which Brighton will be facing. Fulham will be facing Crystal Palace, as Preston will be facing Aston Villa for sure. And hey, this is how the next round is gonna look like for sure. And hey, this is Ashili Sports, and if you just join us and you are new, remember to hit the subscription button, like and share the video, and hey, without much ado, your opinions are highly welcome. Hey, FA Cup, let's know the next round. Which teams do you think, or your favorite team to qualify to the next stage of the FA Cup? Let's know in the comment section, and for sure, see you in the next video. Ciao.